Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on October 19th, 2021 at approximately 1:37 p.m. PST. Now, yesterday I went over very briefly getting the energy running properly in your body, your office, and your house. Now, the way that this all works, the reason it works is because everything is built of energy. It's all built on the same system. Now, people talk about the pyramid system, and they almost always complain about different programs being pyramidal in nature. Well, all of nature is built on a pyramid system. Okay, the whole thing is built that way, including if you take a look at it from a family tree standpoint. When you look at the bottom end and you start going up, everything builds back. One kid has two parents. Each parent has two parents. Okay, so you're always building. Now, with the family tree, you're talking about it building an inverted pyramid. Okay, but when we talk about word of mouth advertising, one person tells two people, each one tells two more, and you start going through some pretty rapid growth. Okay, you start with one, you double it the first time, you get 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, you get the picture. Okay, now the neat little part of it from your standpoint is if you understand that that everything is made up of energy, when you get your own life working properly, okay, so that you're content with it, you'll be a lot more energetic and a lot more adept at dealing with other people. Okay, and the way that their life is going. Okay, primarily because if your energy is running smoothly, then you're only having to deal with their discordant energy. And remember, you do not have the ability to control, in all likelihood, other people. You can certainly coerce them into doing things, but you yourself don't actually control them. You've only got control over your own life. Now, the reality over your own actions, in all fairness. Now, we have to keep in mind, you've got control over your own actions. You do not have control over the outcomes of said actions. Okay, I mean, it really boils down to this. You can decide whether you're going to walk down the stairs or whether you're going to, if you're going to step off a balcony. You've got the choice to whether to do that. The fact that once you've done that, the odds are extremely high you're going to fall. You don't have control over in all probability. So you take a look at your own health. Now, in my case, I take a look at my health and I go, I don't have time to be ill. And that is literally the backbone of it. Okay. It does work for me that way. Now, whether it'll work for you that way, I don't know. I've got a very strange setup where my metabolism is concerned. Okay, but what I do know is by getting things organized, I've managed to get my health running nicely. Hence why, as I said yesterday, I haven't been sick with a cold, the flu, anything along that nature in 25 years. Okay, sure, I've had my health issues, heart attack, stroke, that sort of thing. And rest assured, I have not been the most health conscious person you've ever run into. Probably one of the worst. Don't eat a lot of junk food, but I used to go through a fair chunk of junk food, a fair chunk of pop. Okay. But by getting my health working properly, I was finally able to start focusing on my office. Okay, on where I work on my finances. Net result is why I've got these two signs here. This one indicating my overall requirement. This one indicating business requirement. Now, as you can see, the shelves over there, I've got them cleared off. Now I can start rebuilding them and deciding how I desire it laid out. Okay, so the projects, you can see the one metal tray, a metal upright container right about, where the heck is it? Right about there. Okay, you can see that one. Now, that one there, I don't know what's going into it yet. I'm presuming I'm going to end up putting my project and my other writing projects on that in that location. Primarily because it helps me stay focused. Okay. So by getting the energy running in your house, and this applies to you as well. If you've got a project you're aiming at, a goal that you desire to do, then absolutely start working on it. Do your best not to let other people tell you, oh, you're dreaming too big, you're being unrealistic. Quite frankly, it was unrealistic for Orville and Wilbur Wright to try and put a plane in the air. Okay. People told them it was unrealistic, and yet they pushed. Now, the reality, from my understanding, is they weren't the first two people to get it into the air. They were simply the first to market it properly. Okay, the same applies to a lot of things out there. This is not a question of whether or not people have ideas or whether you may have an idea. It quite often depends on marketing. Now, I am not who you would talk to about the best rule for marketing. I am one that did design a method of tracking advertising where it comes to tracking word of mouth advertising. Found a way to actually do it, found a way to calculate it quite nicely, and it's something I work with. Because the way I look at it, where it comes to advertising, okay, if you take the concept that I've heard from other people, that if you give good service to somebody, they'll tell 2 people about it. If you give bad service to people, they'll tell 10 people about it. Okay, now needless to say, if you follow the axiom of do unto others as you desire them to do unto you, if you're running a business and you're treating everybody the way you desire to be treated, you'll have a better return. And it also stands to reason that you do not have to be open 24/7. Take a look at the original industries, if you will. Hudson Bay was not open 24/7. Sears and Roebuck were not open 24/7. The stock market isn't open 24/7. Okay, at least not from what I understand. Of course, I don't play the stock market, so I may be off on that one. Okay, the point being, when you're running your own business, pick 2 days out of the week, back to back. Doesn't matter which 2 days. Close the business. Because here's what happens if you don't. Even if you've got a manager or a whole team running your business for you. Okay, if you're not actually closed on 2 days, even if it's your theoretical day off, you're still going to be concerned about how the business is doing on that day. Now, the reality is, do I run my own business? Yes. I haven't pushed it very far. Okay, but it's time we start realizing that working together, we will make a heck of a sight better money. Okay, we will be a lot more prosperous. Now, money never has been a major drive to me. Okay, but I'm odd that way. Many people seem to see money as a massive draw, the material world as a massively important thing. So, like I said, get where you're working on your money in order in your office where you can control what you're doing with it, where you can keep an eye on it. As you do that, let me ask you this. If you look at the video today, which looks more appealing or more organized, if you will? You take a look at this shelf right behind me, compare it to yesterday's. Okay, and ask yourself, which one feels better? Which one looks more relaxing? Where I had all the paper and all the stuff stacked up there, or where it's clear and things are starting to get organized on it. You'll find the same thing in your own office. Okay, whether we're talking about running the household or running a business, you still have to have the bills paid, rent, utilities, this sort of thing. Okay, if you don't know how to do it, absolutely, if you're having trouble figuring it out, absolutely drop me a line and let me know in the comments below if you've got a topic that you desire me to look at. Absolutely let me know in the comments below. Whether it's personal, business, UFO, alien related, doesn't matter. Where it comes to writing, that's the other thing I do, which I've mentioned before. Okay. That's got to be moved. Okay. So again, if you've got questions, absolutely drop them in the comments below. Or if you desire to ask a question that you don't desire the general public to see, drop me a line at one of the contact points below these videos, and I will do my best to get back to you. Okay, now I'm not perfect by any stretch, and understand the tools that I'm talking about and the tools I talk about utilizing are the ones I personally use. The philosophies I live by, those are the same philosophies I use day to day, which is why when I do these videos, I don't go back and edit. I do not delete the hiccups or kill off dead air. I just simply double check the date, and the date and time, make sure I got at least the date right. The time is kind of a variable thing. If I miss it by a minute or two, it doesn't matter. Okay, but I double check the date and then post it as is. Okay, because the way I figured it, if I'm going to say this is me, I'm not sugarcoating it. I don't lie to people to make them feel better unless they directly ask me to. And it is far easier for me to remember what I tell people if I just stick to the truth. Okay, now this does not mean I'm perfect. It does not mean that I got everything straight, because it is possible I'm working on erroneous information. And the reality behind information is, if you're working with garbage information, the outcome is going to be garbage. An obvious example. If you desire the answer of 1 plus 1 equals 2, and you happen to write down 1 plus 11 equals 12, it doesn't matter how much you'd like it to equal 2, it's still going to be wrong. Okay. And that boils down to the idea that, especially where computers are concerned, garbage in, garbage out. Okay, now this is why I take a look at the idea of statistics that people utilize. In our sample group, we have done this, or we found this. Sample groups are inherently misleading, because if you pick the right sample group, you will get the statistical information to back up your claim. Whether it's a business thing, a personal thing, a medical thing, it doesn't matter. Statistics across the board can be manipulated to emphasize what you desire it to emphasize. Okay. Years ago, I was asked to do some astrological forecasting for a business. Okay. So I put the information together. And what I found, and I dropped the contract because of it, but what I found was, I sent the information in. It was not absolutely positive information for them, and they were aiming at showing other people how well their business was doing. So they told me flat out they wanted it rewritten so that it was more positive. I says, ain't gonna happen. That's what is being shown. The fact it interferes with what you're trying to do is not my concern. Okay, because I just flat out refuse to tell people things just to make them happy. And I'm certainly not going to use my abilities to emphasize a business that is making bad choices. Okay, I'm just not going to do it. I won't do that to make it sound like I'm making the right choices. This is why I tell you, the only thing anybody has in existence, the only thing at all, is you've actually got your own word, and that is it. Okay. Your word is the one thing that nobody can take from you. They can absolutely coerce you into giving it, but they cannot take it from you. Okay. So when people have asked me my insight into something, I'll go, this is what I'm seeing. Well, how come nobody else agrees with you? Don't know. Don't really care too much. Not going to change my perspective because of it. Okay. Now, I said yesterday I was going to put a poem at the bottom of the video. And, in all fairness, I posted the video before I remembered to put the poem on, so I posted the poem afterwards. Okay, now what I'm doing from this point is yesterday. Now, how do I put this? Yesterday, I was obviously working on my writing. I got through the chapter I was aiming at, got it sorted around, and now I'm moving on to the next parts. But if we take a look here, yeah, of course you can't see that. That's got to be moved. But I've got different figures that I'm working on here that I've already laid out for painting later this afternoon. Okay. Where it comes to a project, okay, what works for me may not work for you, but I can tell you this. If you haven't tried it before and you're still struggling to get your energy moving in the right direction, give these methods a shot. They've worked well for me over the years. Okay. And as you can tell by the speed that the stuff is moving off the shelves, okay, writing it down and staying focused on it one step at a time is working like a charm. Okay, at least from my standpoint. Because now that I've got that shelf cleared, I can figure exactly what to do with it. Okay, much like I've got the books up on the second shelf up there. Okay, if you take a look at the far end of it, you'll see a red book there. That is where my Tolkien collection is. Okay, and I will be adding to that in the near future. But the reality of it is, and this is the whole reason that I came back to this life at all, is to pass on one message. And that is that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. The reality behind it, though, is I can't do it on my own. I can make my world better for me. By doing that, it will have a beneficial effect on the people I come directly in contact with. But for your life to change for what you consider the better is going to require your effort. It's going to require concentrated effort over a period of time. Because if you think about it, you didn't get to the point in life where you are right now overnight. Okay, and all of us are in exactly the same place. Right here, right now. And this is the only time in existence when you can make a change to the way your life is running. And you're the only entity in existence that can make that happen. Okay, so what I'm looking at this point is putting a concerted effort in to try to gain things moving. So as soon as I get done this particular video, if I've got time, well, what time are we? I just have my glasses there. My eyes still are not working as well as I'd like, which is annoying. Okay, I'm at 2 o'clock my time right now. Okay, which means I probably won't get another video done tonight, unless I do one late in the evening. I haven't decided yet, but I will get a bunch of work done. However, that being said, starting today, let's get carried away with this whole idea of helping the people you come in contact with. Sometimes that simply means put a smile on your face and smile at them. Say hello. Even if it's not the same language you speak, if you put a smile on your face and you say hello or you say good morning, that in and of itself can make people feel better. Now, if you like our video, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, because it's imperative this message gets out. That working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. But it's going to require your help. So thank you in advance for that, and I will catch up with you again tomorrow. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other, and for pity's sakes, stay positive.